going in to the first matchup of this competition today. Both sides are ready on up. Yoshi will be on the left-hand side of your screen. Coming in as a Bite and Bark. Joke will be coming in with Missango. So, nice to see the Missango rep coming out from someone that isn't Riffa. We get ourselves set up and ready to go. And it will be Sparring Ring to start ourselves off with as well. So, no gimmicks. Just straight up box in and hope you hit your target. So, Bite and Bark. Coming in with the hottest of slaps, our lovely curved arm utility alongside that Seiki, so big time damage, especially from the rush if it can hit. And the slap already curving round. Joke does have a slap of their own, but it's the Windy Slam variant, not the Fiery Punch. And it's also got an unguided nade as well. Most of the arms in this game have some form of guidance system, but the nade has none, so it's all manual aim all of the time, and that missile is going to hit Joke square in the chest. Dealing a fair bit of damage, but gets the slam hit of their own. Actually gets pegged by Bark. Bite doesn't really have any abilities themselves, but it's Bark who carries all of the utility, and another good, clean, curved arm hit from Yoshi. Gets the grab as well, pops Joke down to the side, and they both catch themselves out here. Now Yoshi actually got caught and tried to follow in with the rush, didn't get anything with it to try and panic through that paralysis state. The Seiki does have that kind of like damage to its name. Getting caught with it is the last thing you want, but again, the AoE explosion. Joke dashes straight into the grab, and Yoshi is going to find themselves up in the early stages. Good start from Yoshi Bowser, but can they keep this up? That will be the question. Getting pegged down immediately, not once, but twice. Joke with the blue mask up on Missango. We didn't really get the chance to talk about it in the previous point, but Missango has 3 masks. Red gives them more power, blue gives them more speed, and yellow means that their rush exchanges will always favor them. Which is why Yoshi has to be incredibly careful when they choose to pop this rush. Especially now that they've got it again, they will get themselves another grab in. Joke just keeping that shield up just a little too long for their own liking. And despite this exchange going in Joke's way, they have to be very careful of the fact that Yoshi does have that rush charged up and ready to go. Joke has not opted to use the yellow mask anytime soon. Now they do have it. And if Yoshi can find a way to connect with the slap, they will take it down, but it's not going to happen. Joke will hit with the rush, 230 damage, puts Yoshi right on into critical. And as I was saying about Bite and Bark, Bark is the one who has all the abilities. Bite doesn't really have anything, so if Bark gets taken down, Bite is basically on their own, hoping that their arms can do the damage until Bark wakes up. Unfortunately, that point is going to go against Yoshi, so it'll be Joke who now squares his back up. Who is going to take the first point in this set? We are about to find out. Yoshi will start with a rush intact, but it's going to be a very quick start for Joke, who gets a first punch and a grab combination. Yoshi just a little too close to really be able to get away with that, and actually does get caught by their own electrical charge. So the Seiki absolutely betraying Yoshi there. Yoshi's just trying to play for a moment where they can catch Joke when they least expect it. Remember, the rush can hit with the missile. It does so much damage, and actually, it denies Joke the chance to go for rush. Patiently played there from Yoshi. Puts themselves back into contention. If they can find anything with the rush, that would be great, but they can't. Joke gets away with it, but actually gets tagged by the Toast in the end. The nade blows up right in Yoshi's face alongside the Seiki, and it puts Yoshi into critical. Joke just about hanging on, but gets pecked on down by the Seiki as well. This is incredibly close, but the grab is going to swing it from them. Again, another unfortunate disarm of the missile. It paralyzes Yoshi. It leaves them open to the grab, and it's going to be Joke who will take the first point in this best of 3 match. Very close matchup between these two. Yoshi getting that initiative, but unfortunately Joke getting the 2 back-to-back when they needed it most. So really good showing from both of these players so far. You like to see it. Like I said, Joke hasn't really entered these for quite some time, whereas Yoshi is consistently in here trying to find their way through into some of the latter stages. Like I said, Yoshi yet to make it to the top 3. In fact, out of the 7 people that we have in this tournament today, only 3 of them have ever made the top 3, Riffa and Iceman, Riffa 26-time winner, Iceman 13-time winner. So you know, between the two of them, 39 cup wins. That tells you everything. Like 39 cup wins out of 76. Yeah, it's quite ludicrous when you really put it that way. The only person underneath those two fighting today that have been in the top 3 was Raziel. Finished 3rd twice, finished 2nd once. So they've made it to the final. But from Yoshi, Slacks, Joke, and Loafer, they've never made it in the top 3. So they definitely know that there's a chance to be able to do so. As we go straight back to Sparring Ring, and Yoshi's going to bring in the Megawatt now. So one of the heavier arms in the game. It's also one of the slower ones as well. So boy, does it pack a punch, especially if it does hit. And also, any glove that goes towards it just phases through it. Like the Megawatt just flat out, it's just like nothing's even there. The Joke is doing exceptionally well to play around that. Gets in another grab. Already has Yoshi down into critical. Nice hot slap, does manage to catch Joke on the back foot, and Yoshi you could see trying to lead with that, trying to bait out Joke's movements with the wall and then hit with the slam when needed, but unfortunately it's going to be another rush cancellation from Joke. Punishes them nicely and again takes the initiative in the second matchup. So whilst it was Yoshi who got the first point last time out, it's Joke who gets it this time around, and it puts them on set point and immediately starts by disarming Yoshi, who switches back to the Seiki. And again, Joke knows as long as they can disarm that and force it to detonate, there's a very high chance they will catch Yoshi with the sharp bark. Again going on down. Yoshi has the chance to be able to have that random toaster just coming out every now and then, and also gives them that height jump advantage. But again, the second bark goes down, Bite is kind of a sitting duck. Joke again makes up for that and gets themselves another grab in, tags them down past the halfway mark and connect with the slam. Both with rush set and ready to go, but it's Joke who seems to be in complete control at the moment. Does get tagged again by the slam, pressured by the bark, and as a result gets caught with the grab. So Yoshi still fighting strong, and it's good to see this as well. Another hot slap as well. Finally tags Joke towards the halfway mark, but they've got it all to do. But the Seiki just about catches with the explosion. Yoshi knows they cannot afford to take any more damage to that. The Seiki again hits square in the chest, just about avoiding the nade. And a bark acts like a meat shield, takes the damage, and Yoshi, oh no! Oh, Yoshi's back. Okay, I thought for a second Yoshi had disconnected. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. But that was looking like one heck of a comeback from Yoshi until they absolutely stopped dead in their tracks. And with that, their momentum completely gone. You felt the comeback was coming, and then suddenly Bite just froze in place. No idea what happened, but it means that Joke will win this set by 2 points to 0 and will advance into the winner's semi-finals. That is an unfortunate way for that matchup to end, because it looked like Yoshi was on the verge of coming back, but their momentum stopped dead the second Bite stopped moving. And, oh no! Alright, we just got confirmation in Discord that Yoshi's controller just straight up stopped working. When it rains, it pours for Yoshi Bowser. And it means that they will drop into the underground bracket immediately. So, unfortunate for them. Yeah, hate to see it happen, but it unfortunately do be like that. And it means that when we next come back, it will be the semi-finals. The semi-finals will be on the way. And in fact, we will be sticking with Joke It's Me, as we will be seeing them take on the reigning revolutionary champion of the Challenge Cup. It is, of course, Riffa. And if we just switch these two around, there we go. We are all pretty much set up and ready to go already. Remember, semi-finals are still best of threes, and this is going to be a very interesting matchup. Riffa has been around for a very long time in the ARMS scene as well. So, yeah, it's going to be very cool to see two veteran players go against each other like this. It'll be, like, I didn't think that we would see something like this anytime soon, but this is certainly what we're going to have. We do have confirmation of our other matchup in the round 1 set. Raziel was able to best Slacks by 2 points to nil, so they are through into into the second semi-final. The winner of Iceman and Lufer will be taking on Raziel in the other semi-final. We will stream that after this matchup. That match, ironically enough, is still going on. So either that set is going to best of 3s, or we could be having technical issues. You never really know. You never really know. We've had our fair share of technical issues over the past few months here at the Challenge Cup, so these things happen. But no, let us now focus on the winner's semi-final. Hang on a moment, I think I am going to... Yep, it's me. It is me who controls it, so... Sweet. So that's a responsibility I don't normally have to deal with. But it is going to be Buster Beach that will be starting things off with. And both of our combatants are set and ready to go. So, straight into our first semi-final of the day, and Riffa not going to be using their usual Masango or Ninjawa. No, they are coming in with Master Mummy, one of the heaviest characters in this game. So, be a very different playstyle for Riffa, but here we go. So, Joke on the left-hand side of the screen, sticking with Masango. Sticking with the Windy Slam and the Roaster, and starts off with a good time grab on our big ol' Mummy. Immediately gets roasted on down as well. So the Roaster, much like the Nade, has that unguided system, so it's all manual aim, but also to make up for that, it's extra damage if it does hit with that fired up punch and quickly dons that yellow mask. It does help with the rush charge as well as winning out that rush exchange, so a little bit of extra help there for Master Mummy. Meanwhile, Riffa has got the Guardian on, so another electrical arm. It'll just sit there as an additional shield and just home its way in. But so far, Joke has got Riffa's number here, able to just catch them off guard and hit with another Windy Slam, taking the big old Mummy straight back into that corner and keeping them in the hot pocket area. Joke does get shocked by all of that, but crucially, Riffa was so far back, it didn't really matter, but a big-time slam, 205, and quickly goes for the rush as well, will get chip damage, and nothing more than that, weakens the shield on the right-hand side, but that is an ability of Master Mummy. The second they can block, if they keep that block up for too long, they'll start healing some of that damage, which is what you see Riffa trying to do in the process, and Joke trying to find a way out of the hot pocket, cannot do so. And despite having the health lead for such a long portion of this match, in the last 10 seconds, it's all Riffa just backs themselves up, able to mitigate that, catches with the Guardian, and that is that. It will be Riffa who takes the initiative, as is always the case, it seems. And the reigning champion starts things off nicely, having been behind for most of that match. Joke started off incredibly well, but just unfortunately, Riffa managed to adapt to their playstyle quick enough to make sure they still take that first point away. And Joke now has it all to do. Does manage to catch in with another Windy Slam, but again, Mummy has so much health to whittle through. Like, every single time you start to get these combos up, you don't realize how hard it could be to actually take all of that health off of the Master Mummy. Both with rush set and ready to go. Unfortunately, cannot get their slam in time. Riffa has a Windy Slam of their own. There's Mummy who got to the punch of it first and also gets the grab. Master Mummy with one of the hardest hidden grabs in the game and just straight up denies Joke the rush as well. Pumps them all the way back into the hot pocket, onto the cusp of critical they go. And well, it's just juggling time for Riffa. They are incredibly comfortable with this, and you can see they know full well they have this under control. That will be a KO because, like I said, Master Mummy has one of the hardest hitting grabs in the game, combined with the Guardian, just that little extra tick. And yeah, that is easily enough for Master Mummy and Riffa to start this set off 1-0. Yeah, Riffa is scary no matter what character they play. And it's just, what else can you say about what you see there? It's just, it never seems to end. So we are getting ourselves geared up for the second point. Joke did start incredibly well, able to take Riffa down past the halfway mark and had a pretty good health lead, but in the last 20 seconds, Riffa just dialed it on back, adapted to Joke's playstyle, and at the second point, it just didn't look like it was changing anytime soon. We are gonna see a counter pick. It is gonna be Ninja College. That will be up, so our first counter pick stage of the day will be coming on up. The other one is Viaduct. We have yet to see that, but to be fair, we've seen Spawn Ring, we've seen Buster, and now we've seen Ninja. So there's plenty of other stages in the pocket if people want to bring them up to fruition. Now, Riffa will be sticking with the Master Mummy, Windiest of Slaps, and the Guardian again. I mean, that Guardian just acts like a little extra shield, except, you know, you ignore that, it will catch you with a shock, and it's the last thing you want to do, which is why Joke is trying to swing around it with that Windy Slam, which is a good idea to do, but Riffa's got one of their own, and they seem to always be able to catch Joke when they least suspect it. Joke tries to rush on through with the blue mask, getting that little bit of speed up, but they're being pinned into this corner, and Riffa loves going to Ninja College at the best of times. Joke takes the central ground, but again, Riffa is just being left unpunished with that shield up and just heals them tick after tick. They'll take the little chip damage because they'll heal it straight back, and Joke is just not close enough to really go for the grabs, and Riffa knows that they can punish it as well. Finally does drop their shield just as the Windy Slam hits. Sends it back downstairs, back into the corner, but they get one of their own. And again, just uses that time to heal themselves back up a little bit. Both with Rush now set and ready to go. Joke is going to have the Yellow Mask, so the Rush exchange will go in their favor should it come to that. And they're going to immediately take advantage of that. Straight up, 380 damage sends Riffa to the bottom of the stairs and into critical, but they have to hold on here. They have the health lead, but this is where they lost it last time around, if you remember, with 20 seconds left to go. They finally do get a charged hit with the Windy Slam. They'll get the Yellow Mask up, and it will be done and dusted. They will take a point away from Riffa, but can they actually take a set point away from them? That would be very spicy indeed. We're going to go straight back into it. Again, Riffa starts at the bottom of the stairs this time around and now brings in the Tri-Bolt. So gone is the slap. Now it's trying to cover as much area as possible with those 3 horizontal bolts. If they hit charge, they will stun, which will allow Riffa even more of an incentive to hit that 205 big time grab damage. Gets a bit of damage with the rush, but nothing more than that. Just chip after that. Joke gets the shield up, dashes back to the middle area, has rush available as well. Riffa tries to heal up some of the damage, and a long-ranged grab from Joke. I thought Riffa would be able to be up for that, but they actually got caught by it, and caught with the slam as well, despite the bolt hitting. They both trade hits in the early stages, but crucially then it is Joke who, well, still has the health lead. That Tri-Bolt did catch them on the stun, but Riffa too far away to be able to capitalize on it, and Joke just swinging around trying to get that Guardian to stay out as long as possible. And Riffa is starting to bring it back down, but it's going to be chip damage on the other side. Will it be a break? It is a break at the end at the very least. It does give Riffa another rush back, and the arm weak on the right hand side, it's starting to fade away, caught with the slam as well. So Joke has to be incredibly careful, tried to commit, but actually managed to almost get away with it, but unfortunately the glove does not take Riffa off their feet. The heavyweight character curse once again coming up to fruition. A bolt stun means they're both on similar health, but Riffa continues to heal away. They have the health lead now, and Joke knows they have to go in to try and hit anything from this. They'll pop on the Yellow Mask. Riffa will heal a little bit further up. 3 seconds left on the clock. Joke goes for the rush, but it's not going to be to any use. You should have held on to that, Joke. There was no point going for it. He was always going to block it. He was always going to absorb it. And there was nothing you were going to do in that situation. It gives rush advantage back to Riffa. And immediately starts with a straight up Windy Slam trade. And Joke will have it all to do to try and find a way back through. It's unfortunate to see that happen, but plays just towards the end just went away. Now they're going to have to rely on that consistency once more to try and reel Riffa back into things. Blocks the Guardian, goes in for the assault. Riffa gets the rush going, but crucially Joke avoids most of that damage. Unfortunately, wakes straight back on up into a Windy Slam. Does not allow them to get the grab, but this time it goes through. And look at how much health it just shaves off of Misango immediately. Riffa just onslaught after onslaught now, not allowing Joke to really get into a position. Big time grab again. One more hit from anything from Riffa will likely do it, and Joke fully knows this. They're going to go for the rush, but unfortunately he's going to be shielded out once again. Arms weak on both sides, but Riffa now also has a rush set and ready to go. Like I said, anything from Riffa will get the KO and will get the set win, which will book Riffa into another record territory. Arm is down and broken, and finally Joke does get a punch for it, but it's not a charged up arm, and the windy slam immediately bites them in the ankle. And Riffa, once again, is in the top 3 of another Challenge Cup. Nobody is surprised to hear that, and Riffa is into the winners final. I think we all kind of saw that one coming now, didn't we? But Joke did incredibly well there, managed to bring themselves back into the contention, almost setting themselves up for a potential shot at getting a point away from Riffa. But unfortunately, the rush, conceding the rush at the end of that second point, meant that Riffa would have the advantage going into it. And, well, this is Riffa we're talking about, the kind of momentum that he carries on a regular basis. He will just punish you over and over and over again. And that is exactly what has happened. So, unfortunate for Joke, but a very good showing. They will drop down into the underground bracket. And now we prepare ourselves for our second semi-final. And it will indeed be Iceman, who took out Lafleur by 2-0. And he will be going up against Raziel. So, whatever happens, the top, well, somebody from the top 3 will be going through. Somebody in the top 3 will be going down into the underground bracket. Will it be the 2 highest scoring players of this entire scene? Or will it be Raziel throwing in a curveball and a half? We are going to find out in just a moment, with the pair of them getting themselves set and ready to go, especially with doing their bans at the moment. Hopefully everybody is having fun in the chat. Just want to quickly say a nice hello to everybody who is chit-chatting. We got Riffa, obviously, in there, just chilling now at this stage. Raziel came in, Camilla, welcome on in. And Yoshi obviously giving some nice hearts to everybody involved. We got Ilferia, probably pronouncing that wrong. Welcome on in as well. It's good to have you here. And yeah, Akram in as well. Thank you very much for joining us. We got Masango again. What is with the What's with the Masangos, everyone? Everyone's really coming in with Masangos as of late, but yep, it will be Iceman as Masango on the left-hand side of your screen. Meanwhile, it will be Cobra for Raziel on the right-hand side of your screen, so it will be the Tri-Blast, the Explosion the Tri-Blast for Cobra, the more explosive variants of the horizontal bolts for Raziel, and already it's doing so much damage against Iceman, who's coming in with the Toaster and the Siki. Goes for the extra damage, but immediately gets their vision completely swiped from them thanks to that good old blob. That bounty blue orb, if it hits whilst charged, well, you'll as you saw, you'll definitely know about it. Arm weak on the right hand side, which is the Siki. That's the last thing Iceman wants to see drop down at this stage. And Iceman slowly getting back into this matchup, finally getting a few tags here and there, but Raziel started off so well and gets themselves a rush hit as well, leading with that blob. And already got an Iceman onto the cusp of critical, almost scoring with the bolts, but Masango just about gets away with it, runs straight into another set of bolts. It deals that damage and then it explodes for good measure, and Iceman again just having to sort of like dance and hope for the best, and unfortunately that grab was always going to hit. And beautifully played there from Raziel in the end, taking the initiative against the 13-time Cup winner. And so we go again. Siki will remain, but this time the Tri-Bolt comes in for Iceman. The Boxing Glove did not work out for them, so it's now going to be a horizontal bolt of their own, but unfortunately jumped and pinned by the Blob and the bolt of Raziel's side. Raziel doing incredibly well to keep this pressure up. Iceman now trying to speed up that movement with the blue mask and do it so you can see how quick Masango moves with the mask equipped. But again, vision has been impaired. Both goes for the rush, and it's going to be the Blob that gets the better of the exchange. The bigger weapon of the four of them, and it's just straight in Iceman's face. Nothing that they can do about it. And as it bounces right towards them, square into the face again, that's another grab. Not quite the KO. One more hit will do. Heck, one more grab will do for extra style. And Raziel, incredibly consistent as of late, gets themselves a point in this set against the multi-time winner Iceman. Very good showing from Raziel. Despite Iceman's arm adjustment, Raziel just did not look like they wanted to lose that point anytime soon. And what a way to start here. This could be a very interesting semi-final. It could be a very interesting winner's final if it goes round to this kind of a journey. Like, Iceman dropping down the underground bracket. Stranger things have happened. But Iceman is going to now do what's called a Pro Alistair move. We are going to see a Dr. Coil make an appearance. Coming in with the Chiller and the Ice Dragon, so it's an all-ice loadout for the all-ice man. And obviously Coil does have the triple gloves. Every now and then you'll have that charge go up on a random side, so you'll have 2 Ice Dragons or 2 Chillers. Pick your poison. And especially on a stage like Ninja College, I don't think Raziel will mind the fact that we're on Ninja College, because it basically means that yes, Coil does have a lot of elevation, but it kind of is negated in a way, because as long as Raziel keeps the middle ground, they'll be on par with however high up Coil floats. Which is why Iceman really has to try and find a level footing to keep that height advantage in their favor. Raziel, again, using that little speed from Cobra as well to keep themselves at bay, but the Dragon Lasers just sweeping on by. The second there's 2 of them, you're able to avoid one, but the second is just quite hard to do here. And as you can see, those Dragon Lasers are really starting to catch up to Cobra here. Arm weak on the right-hand side. They are really starting to struggle against the Coil as Iceman just keeps peppering on in with so much pressure. They're pinning him in the corner, but it's not to any prevail. Arm destroyed and knocked down. The Chiller will hit, and Iceman comfortably takes the initiative in the second match. We're going to see Raziel coming in, not with the bolts this time, but with a popper. So a very quick and a very quick arm. Also one of the lighter arms in the game, so it can be punched through by anything. But I can see what Raziel wants to do. They want to try and be able to hit. It does have a good AoE as well, a good circumference to their hits. But so far, Iceman is just chaining up chill hit after chill hit. And Raziel is already down to the halfway mark, trying to get some form of advantage onto Coil. The popper is finally starting to do its thing, and remember that as long as it can beat the Dragon Lasers, it has a chance to be able to hit, provided Iceman does not counter with that punch. But another good time grab, 170, Raziel brings the health back down to an equal footing, although unfortunately caught out by the Chiller, and drops straight into another volley from Iceman, who now has that central area, has the high ground advantage. Raziel in critical. Pretty much one more hit from anything will do it. Just about gets away from the lasers and now has to play a very dangerous game here, knowing full well that anything will do it. And that's exactly what will happen. The Chiller punches through the popper, and Iceman ties up this set 1 apiece.
Thought you'd win, huh?
The danger that arises when we see Ninja College and Dr. Coil in the same sentences. It's a hard one to win sometimes, but that is exactly how it is going to be. So, Riffa awaits either Iceman or Raziel. It could be an all-winners final, or it could still yet be a curveball. We'll soon find out, as we prepare ourselves for the third and final match here in our winner's semi-finals. We are going to sparring, not to sparring ring. That's not sparring ring. It might be no gimmicks for the time being, but if the middle platform breaks, the trampoline will be up for Mausoleum. And it's going to be the same characters as before. Coil with the Chiller and the Ice Dragon. Raziel with the Blob. And our wonderful Tri-Blast friends as well. But immediately it's going to be the Dragon that kicks things off. But they couldn't get the grab in. Raziel went for the bolt and actually got it. I don't think Iceman was quite expecting that. But again, the sheer laser pressure that you see Iceman just drop every single time. Like I said, it's always a lot harder to avoid the free gloves when they come up, but especially when they're the double lasers. And the double chillers are also just consistently denying Raziel every single time the chill hit. Must be always satisfying for Iceman to hit. Raziel has to rush through it, otherwise they were going to get hit with another thing. And Iceman just shields up the rest of it, chip damage, and nothing more than that. Has rush available, and it's just being incredibly difficult to hit at the moment. And Raziel straight through the heart with another Ice Laser, and Iceman is just oozing confidence at this point. Chiller finds the headshot, and it is going to be set point for Iceman. And now we go in to what is going to be a very interesting matchup. Raziel is going to switch to not one, but two Fun Chucks. So both of these Chucks have different modes of hitting, both on the ground and in the air. We're going to see both of them coming out quick and fast. Tries to go for the grab, but again, Iceman is just able to deny it with the amount of glove pressure that they have every single time. Raziel is going to go for the rush. Finally does get it this time round. 325 damage. Iceman had fully committed, but they do have a rush in the back pocket. Gets themselves another freeze. Hammers off the shield just to see if they can bait out Raziel for any kind of attempt. And that is exactly what we keep seeing. Raziel tries to go for the grab, but it just never happens because the lasers are always there. And that is going to be that. Surely Raziel just one hit away from going down, trying everything to keep Iceman at bay, but it's just not happening. Finally gets themselves a chuck hit, but the rush will just breeze through it. And it will be an all-winners final. It is going to be Iceman versus Riffa in the winners final as Iceman beats Raziel by 2 points to 1. It means that Raziel will be dropping on down into the underground bracket. It is unfortunate to see that, but that is just how it goes. And it does mean that it will be going into the winners final. It will be the two people who combined have won so much more than anyone else. It will be Riffa to take on Iceman. Hopefully you've all been enjoying yourselves so far. This will be our first best of 5 of the day. And it will be Riffa on the right hand side of your screen, Iceman on the left hand side of your screen. Meanwhile, in the underground bracket, if you aren't tracking up at home, exclamation bracket in the chat so you can see what's going on over on the challenge site. Riffa Quill, aka Slacks, took out LaFleur by 2 points to 1, so our newcomer unfortunately not able to make it any further, losing both those matches, but still managed to take a point away from Slacks, so that's always a thumbs up in anyone's book. So it means that the underground round 2 will be going like this. Raziel will take on Yoshi Bowser, Joke will be taking on Slacks. The winner of those two respective matches will then take on each other to determine who will make it into top 3, which will be very, very interesting to see. But that is for then. This is for now. Iceman on the left hand side of your screen, coming in with Ribbon Girl, Toaster, and the Seiki. Immediately tries to fire the missile over, but Riffa straight up says, no, you do not. Coming back in with the Master Mummy, Guardian, and the Slam. The windiest of curved utilities, and it is going to be Iceman again, taking the Guardian Shock straight back down. And Riffa again has the shield up, able to tick on through with that little bit of extra health. Iceman knows they're going to have to use every bit of Ribbon Girl's agility to keep around that, but trades like that can and will still happen. Finally gets the Siki hit, but unfortunately too far away to be able to follow up with the grab that they would like to. Tries to pin them in the hot pocket, but Riffa plays it beautifully. Just baits Iceman in, hits the Guardian, hits the grab, and that just shaves off so much damage on Iceman's side. And well, they know they're going to have a wall to get through and a half. Another big time grab onto the plinth. And that already sends Iceman into critical. Siki does not find its blast at all. Guardian comes up and out. And again, begins to chase Ribbon Girl down. Does manage to get the hit. Thankfully, Iceman comes in with a rush of their own. Big time damage, 430 thanks to the Siki rush. But again, another big time electrical explosion sends Iceman back onto 1 pixel of health. 15 seconds left on the clock, and again, Riffa just sits in the corner and heals themselves back up. Grab should come in, does come in, but it's not enough damage. Iceman needs to go for something here, but just can't find the hit. Riffa is forced to use the rush and just about get through that with the initiative. It means Iceman will be the closest to the rush, but crucially gets it off the table, which is what you like to see. The Siki does hit, but again, Iceman is too far away to be able to capitalize on the situation. Riffa, again, just denies Iceman the chance to start their double dash-in techniques in the air. Thanks to Ribbon Girl, another Siki hit. This time it will be followed up successfully with the grab. And it's just volley after volley at this stage of the game. Riffa again choosing to just heal up that a little bit more. Iceman knows they cannot afford to let Master Mummy just keep charging up like this. Does manage to get a Siki hit. Does manage to get the rush to confirm with that. Is that enough for a KO? Not quite. But that is still 440 damage. Beautifully done. Finally gets connected with the Windy Slam. They have such a massive health lead here. And it's really just a case of just playing this incredibly carefully now. I do not want to let Riffa start to get carried away here. All it will take is for one wayward hit, and Riffa knows full well if they can get a good successful slam and just juggle Iceman up, they can absolutely follow on through. The Siki bounces off the Guardian, does not catch Riffa with the explosion this time around, and Iceman is in a dangerous position, forced into the hot pocket. Thankfully does get out of there, and this is what I mean about Riffa. He's already turned it back so that Iceman is all the way into critical. How has this situation came up? 10 seconds left on the clock. That actually might give them health lead here, and I absolutely think it has. And Riffa knows full well they can be careful here, but they didn't get shield up! Oh, they didn't shield! Riffa either forgot to shield or thought they could get out of the way of that. In either case, it's Master Mummy, and that ain't happening. And Iceman somehow gets away with it. Riffa does have rush advantage going in to this point, and again, Iceman will now need to just keep Riffa at bay for as long as physically possible to deny them any kind of a shot with that. And again, back down towards that hot pocket area they go. They do not want to be sitting there for too long, knowing full well that Riffa will try to find a way out. But that toaster, big old fire glove, is going to make sure that Riffa does go down no matter what. Remember, any normal hit won't really matter for Master Mummy, but if it's a shock and if it's a fire, it will matter massively. Riffa has actually conceded. I don't think I saw that result coming in the slightest. Iceman takes the lead. That all unraveled for Riffa from the end of the second point. Not gonna lie, I think Riffa will be kicking himself for that, because I think he knows he had that in the bag. And unfortunately, it just got carried away from them there. How different that could have been. But that is how it goes. Iceman is able to be there. If Riffa makes a mistake, Iceman, most of the times, will be on hand to capitalize. That is how experienced these two individuals are. And remember, this is just the first point. It's the first to win 3 at this stage, and we all know what Riffa's like. Riffa will find a way of coming back no matter what, but still, the Siki rushes incredibly consistent. Most of the times the rush came out from Iceman we were scoring over 400 damage respectively. Incredibly cool from Iceman, no pun intended. And I will not be surprised to see that loadout coming in again. It does. We also see the first appearance of DNA Lab this stream today. And it's going to be Riffa who immediately backhands Iceman and sends them not once, but twice behind the same pillar. One of the biggest stages in the game is DNA Lab. We've got the 6 tubes as well, which, let's be real, both of these combatants will likely be playing around them, especially if you're Riffa. They can take center stage and be an anchor, or they can just edge themselves towards the tubes and just use it as an extra barrier. Although having said that, Iceman with not 1, but 2 very consistent grabs so far. Make that 3 consistent grabs in a row for Iceman. And just like that, they start to level that playing field, and that confidence, that momentum, it starts to build with every single punch. Although Riffa is still square for it, but again, big time damage, big time rush, another 400 hit, another beautiful Seiki setup. And Iceman is showing that this is indeed the way to go. Toaster and the Seiki for the Ribbon Girl. The high explosive volatile missile combined with that speed and agility that Ribbon Girl possesses is starting to really run laps around the heavyweight Master Mummy. Riffa finally does manage to catch it in with not 1 but 2 successful Windy Glove hits. But Iceman, they know full well they could start to bring this speed back up to their own potential. Weak though on the left hand side, so they'll have to be a bit more careful with it. Riffa getting more and more aggressive, you feel like, with every passing moment, but that's going to be another successful Seiki hit, another successful grab following up from that. Riffa begins to heal that, just thought they'd lick their wounds a little bit more. A few more bandages might do it. And in fact, it's actually allowing them to heal up a lot more than I thought they would do. And Iceman just hasn't really been getting through as much as they did in the previous matchup, because Riffa, again, straight up on wake up, knocks Iceman down, and they're starting to slowly bring this back into a level playing field. Although having said that, another shock into a grab is really starting to annoy Riffa, I think, more than anything. Only got 1 tube to hide behind, manages to get another electrical shot, sends them straight back into the corner. 23 seconds left to go, and they are keeping them there, but they actually missed with the rush. The Guardian didn't hit. I thought for sure the Guardian would have covered enough area. It didn't. Rush now comes out. That's not a KO. 370 damage, but Riffa is essentially 1 hit away from going down. Surely this is Iceman's point. Unless a massive time grab or something happens, it's not going to happen. It is going to be Iceman's. That's a 2-0 lead in winners final. You love to see it happen. Iceman has not won a Challenge Cup since the 62nd entry. If they can beat Riffa 1 more time, they will book their ticket into the grand final for the 2nd tournament in a row. They did finish runner-up last time out, losing to, of course, who else? It was Riffa. So this will be a great moment for Iceman if they can do this. It would give them, I say, an easy task to do in the grand finals, but it's still not easy. Whoever you face up there, it'll still be a challenge in and of itself. So, Guardian immediately straight up in Iceman's face. Riffa is not playing around. Back to DNA Labs we go, trying desperately to pin down Ribbon Girl, who just will not yield any kind of space, nor any kind of speed. The slam comes out, and it actually does catch the slam. I think it must have disarmed the Seiki just enough to force the explosion, and Riffa will not say no to an advantage like that, and gives themselves the health lead in the process. Just under a minute to play in this very important matchup. You never write Riffa out of any kind of set, even if they're 2-0 down. Iceman has been incredibly consistent so far in this set, and Riffa slowly bringing it back into contention. The Toaster not quite hitting this time round. Remember, all heavyweight characters do not really get knocked down by just normal hits. And oh, big time grab, just straight through the tube. Finally, the Toaster does knock Mummy out of position, but again, look at the health deficit. Riffa, with 20 seconds to go, they know full well they should have this in the bag, but another shock into a grab combination. We know that the rush damage that the Seiki gives can absolutely change things, and, well, I could eat those words very cautiously here because of 8 seconds to go. Riffa is in a very dangerous position. Does Iceman go for the risk or do they just play it safe? It looks like they'll play it safe. They do get another grab. It won't be enough though. And Riffa just about hangs on. And so we go again. Riffa finally does have a point in the Saiyan. Just slams them right into the corner, although not miss it this time round. 365 damage from Riffa as they just juggle Iceman into the air. They pinned him in the corner for a good 19 seconds there. Finally, Iceman gets to the center stage, but look at how much damage has already passed. That is going to be a shock into a grab combination, but it's going to have to be more damage than that if Iceman wants to try and shut this set down before it goes any further. Riffa, meanwhile, well, Riffa really just needs to grab at this point, and that's going to be a big time rush coming on up from Iceman. Here comes the damage, 410, and puts Riffa past the halfway mark, but they also know full well that they have to make every single point matter, and that's exactly what they're doing. Grab gives them the health lead. 45 seconds on the clock. This would be one heck of a slapback. If Iceman takes a point out of this position, I think they're going to. That's a grab into a KO. How in the world did Iceman bring that back? What? Clip that for me so that I don't have to. That is unbelievable from Iceman, and it gives them set point. Riffa immediately activates Rush, but Iceman will just take chip damage and nothing more than that. Hits square in the face with a toaster. It's not charged, so it won't phase Riffa in the slightest. And Iceman now will know that they can absolutely still win this set outright. And Riffa has to be incredibly careful, but another successful C-key hit. Thankfully, Iceman was way too far away to be able to do anything for that. The Guardian hit again, just deflected that C-key, giving Iceman more stuff to work around. And immediately goes in with the rush, and that will hit. Big time damage again, 440. Sends Riffa past the halfway mark. C-key just above the head of Riffa this time out. Riffa knowing full well that's another C-key hit. They cannot afford to take too many more of those because that puts them into critical. Here comes the rush from Riffa's side. 285 knocks Iceman down just above the halfway mark, and now it's a matter of just playing it safe. Big time explosion goes against Iceman. Grab almost sends them into critical, and now it goes back the other way. Riffa has the health lead. Arm weak on the left hand side for Iceman. Just dodging and dashing for as much as they can, knowing full well they almost have rush set and ready to go. If they land it, they win it. It's as simple as that. But all Riffa needs to do is just hit. They go with the shield. Will it break? It does break! Riffa drops shield! Riffa drops shield and the explosion kills them. It's a 3-0 for Iceman in winners final. And it will be the Ribbon Girl who dashes their way into grand finals. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So Riffa will drop to the underground final. Beautiful to see that. Wonderful action from start to finish. But it's gonna be Iceman who books their ticket into Grands. You love to see it happen. They've got themselves a great opportunity to get themselves another win on the books for the first time in quite some time. But can they actually do that? We will find out soon enough as we get ourselves ready for the underground bracket. The top segments are done for now. We now go to the underground semi-final, where a very interesting development has been brought to our attention, because you see, it is Raziel to go up against Joke It's Me. Now, I can't stress this enough, there is some potential history here. Raziel is looking to book their ticket into the top 3 for what would be the 4th time. They've came third twice. They've came runner-up once. It's an incredible showing for them. Of that there is no doubt. For Joke It's Me, a name that has been around for a long time, but we haven't seen said name in a long time, is looking to try and make it to the top 3 for the first time ever in the EU Arms Challenge Cup. I have no idea which way this is going to go. We saw Joke It's Me have a pretty interesting time with Riftr earlier. Was able to at least take a point away from them in one of the matches, but did not take an actual point in the set away. Losing by 2 points to 0 against Riftr in the end. And we know Raziel was able to outright take a point away from Iceman earlier because that was a 2-1 defeat in the semi-final. So this matchup has the potential to go either way. Riftr awaits in the Underground final. The top 3 beckons for one of these two. Will it be a 4th time appearance for Raziel or a 1st time ever appearance for Joke? We are about to find out. Raziel on the left-hand side of the screen, Blob and Triblast. Joke on the right-hand side of your screen, coming in with that Windy Slam and the nade. And it's going to be the nade, not charge, that gets the first point of damage. But that's okay, because Raziel responds with their explosive horizontal boats. And both of these combatants are going to have an interesting dynamic to play around with here. The Blob are going to be bouncy, unpredictable. So too are going to be the grabs, which is going to keep Joke on their toes big time round. But Raziel knows full well what to expect from Misango. The 3 ever shape-shifting masks that give them those wonderful variety of abilities, and so far Raziel is keeping them at bay with explosive hit after explosive hit. The Blob is being sent out there as a guider, and again the bolts just predict where Joke is gonna just sidestep into. It'll be incredibly important which one of these two are able to keep that consistent presence alive. Joke tries to get that little extra coverage and makes it work beautifully. Catches Raziel off the back foot, denies the rush and hits on in with another solid 1-2 combination. They've got the rush set and ready to go as well, but they are going to also be the first ones down into the critical. Again, another 1-2 volley from Raziel. Incredibly consistent so far. It's a nice little tap from the slam and actually goes for the rush. Breaks the grab attempt from Raziel, and that will prove to be the first point for Joke. That was exactly what they needed. A little sprinkling of luck there, but they denied Raziel the grab and straight on in to a point for them. Nade and the slam is going to be their call. The Tri-Blast come back out with the blow for Raziel. Great showing already, and the trampoline will actually make an appearance here. And Mausoleum. And so that's going to just tick down just that little bit extra space. And Joke actually, even with all that little space available, finds a way to slip past Raziel's rush and just tickles them with that little sidearm and just takes them straight out of the equation. And suddenly, Joke is just having a lot of confidence here to just go for pokes when you least expect it. Raziel is just hopping and dashing for dear life to try and get away from this, but it's just not playing into their standards at all. The grab does not connect. The bolt just phases through Joke. Raziel already into critical. Another wayward nade just finds its mark, and so too does the slam. Joke knows anything will do it. Breaks the grab. That will do it. And Joke, my friend, is 1-0 up in the Underground semi-final. Well, this could be interesting. This could be very interesting. Raziel has been on a consistent spree as of late, but boy howdy, wouldn't this be one heck of a shake-up if this were to play the way it does. And I'll tell you right now, the fact that, again, like I said, the blob is unpredictable. The fact that the rush came out and the blob just went too high to hit Missango, who was that close to them anyway. Bust the Beach will be the call. Tri-Bolt and the blob versus the Windy Slam and the Nade. As we get underway for a very important matchup here down in the Underground semi-final to decide who makes it to the podium positions. And Raziel, unfortunately, takes a nade straight to the face. And straight back down they go, trying to get into position, caught by the Windy Slam. Actually knocked Joke very close to them, and this is a very dangerous game for the pair of them to be playing. Cobra does not mind at all going up close and personal with Missango, but Missango also has the nade as well, so both having to be very careful with how they dealt with that situation. The grab, again, just a bit too wayward for Raziel's liking. It's going to be Joke who manages to catch on up with them. Both on a similar health, but it's the Windy Slam that connects before the blob can. Raziel again just jumps straight on forward. Missango, well, initially said, come at me, but I don't think they really wanted the rest of that rush to go through. Joke finds themselves into critical. Raziel on a bit more of a comfortable spree here now. Able to phase through. The rush has to come out from Joke to deny Raziel anything else, and the blob hits! How did the blob hit from there? I don't think Joke anticipated that to actually connect from there, but hey, it absolutely did. And it gives Raziel the point that they are looking for to try and tie this set up one apiece. They do not want to have any kind of surprises or upset at this stage. And again, a very interesting flurry between the two, but it's going to go in Joke's favor. But again, that bolt catches the stun, but didn't really phase them as much, but that grab will absolutely do so. And now into the hot pocket, thankfully able to have enough awareness to get the punch and punish. Despite being in the pocket, Joke rounds the corner and gets the heck out of there. Grab is going to just shut them straight back down and put them on the cusp of critical. And Joke, well, tried to bait out a dash from Raziel, but it's not going to happen. No damage from the rush at all. They'll have to do it the hard way, and now it's their turn to try and pin Raziel into corner. Actually caught them with the nade explosion, would you believe it? Blob, not going to hit. Tri-Bolt does tag, but it's not a stun. Again, Raziel just consistently dashing and flipping their way, trying to make sure they take no damage from Joke's onslaught. Grab denied by Raziel, who actually kind of went for one of their own. 33 seconds on the clock, another couple tags here and there, and Joke maybe into critical, but Raziel isn't too far away, and both may have rush to play with here. Oh, but the blaster connect! The nade exploded! The nade of all things self-destructed. It's a weird-ass point to concede, but concede it they have. It's 1-1. You just thought Joke was just biding their time, waiting for that to come back their way, but the nade unfortunately just blew up on them. And that's the risk you run with running an explosive arm. As long as it can be detected, if it disarms, if it hits something and it just drops straight in front of you, it technically hits something, it will explode. Especially when you're in the hot pocket and Bust the Beach. You've got nowhere to run to. It's just, I guess I will take the damage, and unfortunately, when you're already in critical, that's the last thing you want to see happen, but happen it has. And now we go to Ninja College. Can Raziel book their ticket into the top 3 for the 4th time? Can Joke do it for the 1st time? This is the deciding match. It's as simple as that. Raziel starts from the bottom of the stairs, Blob and Tri-Bolt in hand. Joke immediately has the red mask up and ready to go, the Windy Slam and the nade, and it's going to be immediately disarmed and sent to the bottom of the stairs. Thanks to a wayward grab, both connect with their own respective hit. Thankfully, Raziel was not able to punish with the grab that time around. But Joke's still taking a lot more damage. Those bolts are really coming in crucial for them here. Not as much room for Missango to really be moving around in, and as a result, Joke is getting a lot of these reads with the Tri-Bolt spot on so far. Joke is already in to critical condition, and look at how comfortable Raziel is in this stage. Another grab, Beautiful connection, and that is set point for Raziel. We thought the tides might be turning in Joke's favor. We thought that a bit of history might yet be happening. But if Raziel can do another similar performance like that, it may just be too much for the Missanga to take on this time around. The Red Mask is up and actually phases through the stun bolt this time around. Blorp not charged up, so it won't worry Joke as much this time round. Here comes the rest of the rush though, and unfortunately Joke is not going to be far enough away from it this time. The rush does connect and Raziel quickly hops back towards the bottom of the stairs. They know full well they have the health lead. It's like just over a minute still yet to play here, and Joke is going to try and pin Raziel into a corner if they can. Again, another successful takedown for Raziel. Here comes the Red Mask. Here comes the rush. Big time damage. How did the slam miss? What? The slam missed and Joke went from surefire full damage from the rush to not as much as they would like to. They've still managed to get Raziel to the halfway mark, and in fact another successful wind slam does give them the health lead now, but now Raziel does have a rush set and ready to go, and well, Joke knows full well they cannot afford to overcommit. Gets the tag with the slam, and Raziel will not get any further damage with that rush. Joke has rushed. Surely they'll hold on to it. Now they absolutely will hold on to it. Going in to the next point. Raziel is just a hit away from going down. There is the slam. And just like that, the set is back on again. One apiece in the set. One apiece in the match. Joke will have rush advantage going in to a very crucial and very important final match in this set. Nade will hit first, triggers the explosion and sends Raziel back to the bottom of the staircase. Another successful combination from Joke means that Raziel is already at the 75% mark. Tribolt not going to hit. Finally does ping, but it cannot get the follow-up grab. Another successful ping. Arm weak on the right-hand side for Joke as they equip the Red Mask. Raziel has caught back up and does have rush set and ready to go, and it's going to be Raziel who pops it first. Now Joke goes for it, but actually no, they don't. No! You've got to be kidding me. Raziel gets the better of it. It's not the Yellow Mask, it was the Red Mask. They tried to go for more power and it cost them dearly, but thankfully they do get the 1-2 hit and puts themselves just about on equal terms. Punches through the grab. This is as intense as it gets. Big time grab from Cobra, shoves Joke into the corner. It's the last place they need to be, because this is where Raziel chained up all of that amazing hit last time out. That's how they won the first point in the whole starting place. Now, Yellow Mask equipped. It's going to be chip damage surely and nothing more. No, it's going to be little to no damage, but the Yellow Mask is also de-equipped. 26 seconds left on the clock. Joke unfortunately gets the shield up in time, but not for the grab. The grab comes out and Joke does not get to register the top 3. It's going to be business as usual. No new names on the podium. Raziel wins by 2 points to 1. Amazing plays from both sides of the field, but unfortunate for Joke. They got too greedy. They went for the Red Mask whilst the rush was still going on and got absolutely punished for it. And unfortunately, that last part as well also taken it away from them. Commiserations from Joke. They've played incredibly well to be able to bounce this far back. And we haven't seen them in such a long time. I honestly thought maybe a podium was on the horizon and it would have been quite historic to see it, but it is not going to be. It is going to be denied at the last moment. A successful comeback from Raziel means that it's business as usual. It is another solid top 3 from the likes of the ones you're used to. Iceman in the grand final, Riffa in the underground final, and joining them now will be Raziel, their 4th top 3 appearance. But can they make it a 2nd grand final appearance? That is the question that we will be asking right now as we prepare ourselves for Raziel versus the reigning revolutionary champion himself. It's Riffa. Riffa coming back in with Master Mami, going up against Raziel with the Kid Cobra as we start in DNA Labs. Lights out and away we go, and it's immediately off with a grab for Raziel, who brings in the torture of all things. Our horizontal prongs takes a more staggered approach with the fiery version of this. We got the blow up still involved, and you can tell what Raziel has wanted to try and go for here. They wanted to try and just burn through Riffer's heavyweight status as quickly as possible. I mean, they've already pretty much got them to the halfway mark, which is a great start for them. Both of them hit hard with their grabs. Obviously, Master Mummy hits harder than anyone. And a successful blob over it. No rush this time around as Riffer just side coasts in towards the tube, and actually still gets grabbed by all of that. Puts them on the cusp of critical. And now they try to slow Raziel down. Into the corner they go. And let's see how long Riffer can keep them there. Another successful hit with the Windy Slam. And this is where Raziel has to be incredibly careful. Oh dear me, that's going to be a full-on rush for Riffer. And just look at how quickly they've turned that back. Big time grab there from Cobra. Still puts them in contention. And Riffer does not have full control anymore. Raziel is out of the corner. With 30 seconds left to go, it is going to be the Guardian and the Slam that just go straight into Cobra's face. And Riffer will not be conceding any more than that this time around. Tries to go for a very quick starting grab, but it's not going to happen this time around. Raziel is going to be the one who gets more of the damage. There'll be the rush through as well, but unfortunately no dice on it. It just was shy of Riffer's left-hand side. And Riffer gets away with that one scot-free. And again, starts to try and close Raziel down. Just completely phases through any attempt Raziel has to pin them down. Heals themselves a little bit whilst they're down on the floor. And that is going to be beautiful for Riffer. The reigning champions starting as they mean to go on. Raziel is being very aggressive, but Riffer has an answer for it on every sense of the word. Finally the grab does bounce through. That blow up really taking that grab over the bar of the Guardian. Just catches Riffer off guard. You kind of love to see it happen like that, but again, another Windy Slam from Riffer just sends Raziel back on down, and another punish with the Slam as well. Make that 3 successful Slam hits in a row for Riffer. And again, a little bit more healing, a little bit more spirit, and gets grabbed! Gets grabbed going for the rush! Completely takes that away from them. 20 seconds left on the clock. They have the health lead. And Raziel knows they have to go in for the onslaught, but again, caught by the Guardian. 10 seconds on the clock, goes for the grab, doesn't get it. And it looks like that is going to be Riffer's to lose at this stage. 5 seconds to go. Riffer, the reigning champ, will take the first point of this best of 5 set. Well, through again we go. Riffer just showing that despite that quite awkward start, Raziel was definitely on fire there, but Riffer just bringing it back bit by bit, and we are actually going to see Viadolz. Viadolz makes an appearance, I believe, with that. I think we might have seen every stage today. No, we haven't seen Temple Grounds, would you believe it? Temple Grounds is the only stage we haven't seen. Normally, that's one of the first stages we see in a Challenge Cup, but not this time. You like to see it. So, Viadolz, very tricky stage. This one, you can punch through the barriers and really make your opponent's life difficult. And both are just going to trade grabs in the very early stages. Look at this from Raziel. How consistent do you want to be with your grabs, my friend? That is unbelievable. Riffer's already on just consistently conceding a lot of those. And Raziel not afraid to just go straight up in Mummy's face and just fling them to the other corner of the stage. Not this time round though. Riffer now finally starts to just take them apart, keep them forced into this pocket, and that's the last place you want to be against a heavyweight character like Mummy, especially with the Guardian as well. It becomes a very hard thing to find out of, but that's okay. Another grab from Raziel, tries to go with the retorture, flung the blob out, but it's not going to phase Mummy in the slightest. heals themselves up in the process, and Raziel knows full well this is going to be quite the hard battle to go for. Tries to go for the rush, but it's going to be chip damage and nothing more than that. The grab will not connect this time around, and again, Rifa just sits in the corner, camping like a mummy. We see what you're doing, my friend, just healing away in your hot bucket area. Raziel continues to just fling in there, but again, Rifa doesn't mind. They're just parking the bus and not moving an inch. 15 seconds on the clock. Raziel will get shocked by the Guardian, and that is a slam dunk into the KO. And yet, straight onto the middle platform. Boom! And we start immediately. What in the world is Raziel? Raziel is going for double blobs. An interesting strategy. Let's see if it pays out for them. Well, they do manage to get one little variety of vision impaired, but that's going to be immediately equated to... Oh my god, it actually connected. The bounciest of grabs does find a way through into Rifa, who goes down in with the rush. They're both just... Look at this. What do you do in a rush state when you see two blobs coming out? You're going to have to just shield it. You've got nothing that's going to punch through that. And Rifa really having to just take the chip damage. And nothing more than that. Does finally manage to find a way of punching through the grab. And now they're just going to try and just keep Raziel in this corner. Although every single hit just keeps bouncing off the blobs. They're going to heal themselves back up every single time Raziel hits the floor. And quite right to do so, honestly. Grab does finally manage to come on out. Raziel has had enough of being in that corner. 40 seconds left on the clock. It is very interesting and surreal matchup here. The grab does connect. I didn't think that was going to be close enough, but it counted. And Rifa again just keeps the shield up, keeps healing it a little bit more. Actually dropped it at the worst possible moment, but goes for the rush. Blob grab is just too high for Raziel to do anything about this time round. And Rifa again gets the health lead back onto their side of the field. 18 seconds left on the clock, and that is gonna be that. 2-0 to Rifa in winners in Underground final. And they are looking to book their ticket into an all winners only grand final. Like, you could somewhat see what Raziel was going for. Try to utilize the blobs to just consistently bounce over the Guardian, but there comes the added risk of that, where everything you do will have to be a bounce action. You have to accommodate for that, and as you can see, with the grabs just bounce so high with that. It's just like, especially when there's a rush coming up, it's like the second that bounce goes higher than the rush, if they're on the ground, that rush is probably going to hit you, and there's nothing you can do about it. So it was very cool to see Raziel attempt that. We had some amusing moments in there where Rifa just couldn't punch through anything. It was just like, I can't hit you with this. I kind of have to shield, so... Yeah, that was very cool from Raziel, but Rifa just slows it down, brings it back onto their side of the field, and we are actually going to see a switch from Raziel. It is going to be Min Min that is going to come up. Thought about bringing in the clap back, but it's going to be the Siki and the Popper. Siki's going to be on the Dragon Arm, which is going to be an interesting choice. I thought it would have been the Popper on the Dragon Arm, but no. So, for those of you who don't know, Min Min's Dragon Arm is on the left-hand side of your screen. Whichever arm is on it, if it's charged up, it stays perma-charged up. And actually, I think it's coming out for the better, because the explosion is just as big, and it has caught Rifa off guard a couple of times already. They're going to be having to be very, very careful here. They've got the Popper alongside that to see if they can outspeed everything else. Unfortunately, just chip damage and nothing more than that. With the rush, it bounced harmlessly off the Guardian. And Rifa does still have the Windy Slam at their disposal if they do so need it. And whilst the Popper is a very quick arm, that Guardian can be a thorn in Raziel's side here, and really stuck in the hot pocket. Grab came out just in the nick of time. That Guardian was going to hit them, and somehow Raziel got away with that. That quick awareness speed of Min Min, really good interaction times from Raziel, and puts Rifa back into the hot pocket themselves. They're on the cusp of critical, and actually shocked. The grab missed! The grab just fell at Rifa's feet. Rifa lives to breathe another day. The Guardian does deny the Seek and the Slam, and does manage to find a way through, but Nothing else with that rush. Chip damage, nothing more than that. And that is a big time explosion for Raziel. With 12 seconds left on the clock, that should at least be comfortable for Raziel. It is. Papa finds the square in the chest. And there we go. Great awareness for Raziel. Switch into Min Min, especially with the setup, definitely seems to be working a lot more in their favor here. And River, I believe it actually just switched the Guardian onto the side where the Seeki's going to be. They know full well they want to make sure that does not connect them anytime soon, but it connects again! And the grab is followed up with as a result, and Raziel again takes the health lead straight away, and I think River knows full well they do not want to be taking that missile to the face. They know the dangers that rush can do. Finally manages to block the grab attempt with the Guardian. Again, just heals themselves up, waits for the grab to come in last second, and then just throws it out and begins to heal themselves back up again. River is playing a very park the bus strategy here, but finally got a little too greedy. Gets caught with the grab, but they're really just back where they started here, and I think that's what River's game plan is here. They're just sitting there, letting Raziel fling in and just healing it back time and time and time again. And I think this is going to annoy Raziel more than anything. The grab again comes on out, and River slowly makes their way through, has the Guardian fully out on deployment, and tries to surprise Raziel, but Raziel says, no you do not. Doesn't get any kind of damage with the Seeki though, only 130 with the rush, but still, it's damage where it counts. The Seeki does find its mark, and this time round, it is Raziel with the healthy 23 seconds left on the clock. River has got to get very aggressive here if they want to try and bring this back, and that is just not going to happen. Perfectly placed with the grab. It's all good for Raziel, and despite being 2-0 down in this set, with 10 seconds left to go, that's a big time grab. That's dangerous. Do not want to be conceding any more of those, and that will do it. Raziel will get themselves back into this reverse sweep question mark. We will see. It is 2-1 in Underground Final. The change was inspired, but the change was spot on. Going to Min Min was exactly what Raziel needed, and the Seeki catching River out more times than I think was expected. And that is the sign of someone who desperately wants to try and win their first ever Challenge Cup. Like I said, Raziel has been in the third place positions twice, has finished runner-up once. They want to go one step further. They want to get themselves in the grand final for the second time ever. It would be pretty big if they could. But they still have to beat River. Not just one more match, but 2 more matches. Can they do it? Double Guardian from River. What in the world? I mean, we saw double Blob earlier, and Raziel gave it a good go with that. Now it's River's turn for the questionable decisions. Double Guardian means that double electricity, double the wall, and obviously River using Master Mummy who can heal themselves back up. You just feel like this is gonna be... This is River trying to annoy the opposition as much as physically possible at this point. Well, we generally paint River as a heel at the best of times, but yeah, this is very much a heel tactic right here and now. And the 2 Guardians just keeping Raziel all the way down in the Hot Pocket territory. And the Seeki just keep bouncing off the Guardians. It's doing absolutely nothing in this entire fight. River's barely taking any damage at all. Finally gets a little bit of clippage, but that is going to be that. Raziel has no way through at this stage. The Seeki is just being walled out every single time. And if this is how River wins the fight and goes through to the grand finals, it will be quite the big move. Although having said that, Raziel says, screw your Guardians. Big time rush across both of the Guardians and gets a wake up grab. How quickly a matchup could turn, and suddenly River, well, I think they've realized they've absolutely conceded this point. Into critical they go. There's nothing that they could do from this position. Raziel has just absolutely given River the biggest middle finger possible. Straight back into this set we go. Riffa brings out the Tri-Bolt and has to play aggressive from the get-go, and that's exactly what they're doing. Goes in for the rush, clips it with the bolt, but gets nothing more than that chip damage, and that is all. Although Raziel does start on the back foot, weak on the right-hand side. That is how much pressure Raziel is being put under. Both players lose arms there. Only Raziel had one functional there, so Riffa could breathe a sigh of relief, but not this time around. Grab will follow up with the shock, and that gives Raziel a chance to get themselves back onto an even footing. Riffa knowing full well they cannot afford to concede another point here. Match 5 would really start to look favourable for Raziel if it goes that far. Siki bounces off the Guardian, big time shock, but Raziel couldn't follow it up in time. No! They must have thought for sure the popper would hit, but unfortunately it didn't. Riffa got the shield up just in the nick of time, and the rush was denied for Raziel, and now Riffa has a chance to be able to pin them big time, and they do. 295 damage punched into the hot pocket, just about denies the wake-up grab from Riffa. And now Raziel will see all of that hard work being undone right in front of them. Pinned into the corner. They've got no way out of this. The Siki just cannot find a way to phase off through, but now it does. And now this will be a great opportunity. Both participants into critical, and the grab almost gets it, but misses. The rush hits! The rush hits! And Raziel from the brink of death comes back to tie this set up 2-2. Beating Riffa is a feat in and of itself. Beating Riffa in a reverse sweep is just... it's a rarity in and of itself. Like, it just barely ever happens. If Raziel does this, what a moment this will be. Min Min versus Master Mummy. It's still Buster Beach. It's Siki and Papa versus the Wind Slam and the Guardian, as we get ourselves going for the 5th and final match of the Underground Final. And immediately starting off with a shock, and it's just close enough for Raziel to follow in with the grab attempt. Does get slipped by that Windy Slam, but just about gets away with it for the time being, and Riffa knows that their championship is on the line here. They are the reigning champ. And now, finally starting to bring this back into contention. Rush set and ready to go. Forcing Raziel into the hot pocket. Not far they can move there. And denying every kind of possibility for Raziel. Rush will connect with over 300 damage. Dished out for good measure. And Raziel has to play a very patient game here. Riffa has the health lead. They've got 50 seconds. And they're healing themselves away. Tries to go for the long range grab, but Riffa is not going to be falling for that anytime soon. The wind gets the best of them here as well. Riffa again just comfortably pops themselves in this pocket area. Nothing Raziel is throwing their way is making Riffa worry too much. And in fact, catches out with the shock. Actually wasn't able to punish it, but Riffa won't really mind that at all. They have a massive health lead with 23 seconds left to go. They finally do get caught with a grab. Gets caught away from that hot pocket area, but it might just be too little too late. Another well-timed grab, but again, Riffa is still all the way over the halfway mark. 3 grabs in a row. That puts them underneath the halfway mark. 4 grabs in a row. Raziel, what the hell are you doing? 5 seconds left on the clock. That nearly absolutely made contact. And could you imagine the scenes had that gone off? But Riffa hangs on by the skin of his teeth. My goodness, Raziel, that was inspired. But crucially, it is set point for Riffa as we go into the next matchup. Riffa will not be wanting to concede that many grabs again at this stage. Both participants with rush set and ready to go, and it's gonna be Raziel who gets the better of the exchanges. 430 damage from the get-go. Riffa cannot make contact with their rush, so slight advantage to Raziel, but it's how they go from here is gonna be the big time question, as Mummy is just going to be incredibly aggressive against Raziel here, and you just know full well if a shock happens, that big old 205 grab is probably not going to be far away. Both on somewhat level health, Riffa with the slight edge at the moment. Raziel has enough time to get the Seiki charged up back into that perma territory. But they've got to find a way through Riffa because unfortunately it's a large chunk of health dished away from Raziel, who finds themselves on critical. Riffa has rush set and ready to go, and that somehow isn't. No, it caught them! The Guardian was just close enough to catch Raziel. That was the last thing that they needed. One more hit from anything from Riffa will take it completely away from them at this stage. The popper does hit, but it's not enough to take them out of the equation. The Guardian, again, continues to harass Raziel, and that is gonna be that. No reverse sweep this time round. It will be an all-winners final, and Raziel, despite everything, it just doesn't happen. It is going to be the same old final. It's Iceman versus Riffa, with Riffa winning the Underground final by 3 points to 2. What a set. Oh, that hurts. Ugh. It just wasn't meant to be. Raziel will finish third for the third time. No grand final appearance once again. But an amazing performance from them, however you slice that. And it means that we go into the grand final with the championship very much up in the air. Riffa, the reigning champion. Iceman, the individual looking to finally wrestle that throne away from him. It's going to be an interesting grand final. And goodness me, can we just savor that set? Can we just appreciate everything that happened there between Riffa and Raziel? Riffa was 2-0 up, and we thought, surely there's no way Riffa concedes again. Because this is Riffa we're talking about. He always makes it through there. Loses 2 in the back. And this is when we kind of like lament this a lot of the times, where it's like, you never write Riffa out. Like Riffa has won 26 cups in this competition for a reason. Every single time you see him go down, like he's like a point away from actually going out of the tournament, or he's a point away from being knocked down into the underground bracket, and everybody starts to get hyped. They start to build up hope that the upset's going to happen, and then Riffa, being Riffa, just absolutely denies everybody that, and just been like, no, I am Thanos. You are not having this championship away from me. It's just not going to happen. So, and it happens time and time and time again. And that's how it is. That is just how it goes. Riffa once again making it to the grand final, and to be fair, it's not the first time that this has happened either, because as you can see, we are starting off the summer break, but previously the spring season has ended, and Riffa is still the individual to beat in terms of the power ranking, once again in the #1 position. But everybody behind him, well, they've all changed positions. You see 3 new entries into the top 10. Slax making it to 10th, Yoshi making it into 9th, and Raziel making it into 5th, doing incredibly well. And you can see that consistency from Raziel. You feel like at some point they'll start to knock on the doors of the podiums themselves. We got a Lawyer in 8th, Iceman 7th, Yam 6th, Replicant 4th, Grimwood 3rd, and Alistair has been making waves with the coil at the moment, managed to get themselves into 2nd, got 2 Challenge Cup wins in there, and that absolutely affects the power ranking now. You might be wondering, why in the world are we showcasing this? Well, that is to remind you of something that will be happening next time out, because you see, it will be time. The EU PR Invitational cometh July 10th, that is next Sunday. correct me. No, it's not next Sunday. It is next Saturday. I'm so used to ARMS running on a Sunday. This is what I mean. I have to remember that the PR Invitational doesn't run on Sunday. It runs on a Saturday. And that is exactly what will be happening. 7 p.m. CEST for me. That's 6 p.m. BST. And it promises to be a spectacular performance. Remember, it is a double elimination tournament, as is usually the case, and it is the top 8 players. If any of those top 8 can't make it, then it goes to who came 9th and who came 10th in the PR Invitational seedings. So, as of time of writing, provided everybody checks in and is absolutely fine to play this, next time out, the bracket will essentially be looking something like this. It will be Riffa, who will be taking on Eloria. How very dare you? I did not ask you to do that. Thank you very much. Riffa will take on Eloria. Replicant will take on Raziel. Alistair will take on Iceman in an all-British matchup. And then Grimwood will take on Yam. You have 4 Brits, 2 Germans, 1 French, and 1 Irish. It is going to be an interesting matchup to see, and hopefully we get to see you all here at EU_ARMS at 7 p.m. CEST, 6 p.m. BST, wherever you are watching. Hopefully you can convert those 2 times into your respective zones, and we'll be able to see you then for the next EU PR Invitational. Should be a lot of fun, but back to the here, back to the now. It is time to see who will be kicking off the summer final with that first cup win. Will it be Riffa keeping hold of their title yet again? Or will Iceman take that crown away and finally give them a title which they have not won since the 62nd installment of this competition? Yes, you heard me right, the 62nd. We're on the 76th installment now. It has been 14 cups since Iceman last won one. There is no greater time than any to finally kick that trend and give yourself that 14th win. Can it happen? Will it happen? Who the heck knows? Riffa on the left-hand side of your screen. Iceman on the right, coming in with Springtron of all characters to go up against Master Mummy as we head on into Mausoleum, Master Mummy's wonderful stage area of choice. And Tron, well, you have to be incredibly careful. They have that EMP, which immediately gives themselves some buffs, and also it has a chance to be able to take out any arms coming their way. So Riffa will know that full well, but wherever we see it actually come up from Iceman or not, it's going to be a whole nother story, because without it, otherwise, well, it's just essentially, oh, a big time blow against the Tron. Already at the halfway mark, does manage to catch on it with the Boomerang. Our wonderful windy circular goodness. Also has the Chill alongside it, gets themselves another big time grab to keep Riffa at bay, but already a lot of damage from Riffa's side of things. The EMP is going to go up and give themselves that wonderful buff. You can see how quickly they move already as a result. Didn't able to take out any arms this time around. Goes for the second, but Riffa immediately punishes with a big time grab. And that's the last thing Iceman will want to be seeing at this stage. Finally just get a grab back onto their side of the field. But so far Riffa is just biding their time, playing the patient game. The rush does finally go on through and makes that 325 damage, puts them on similar health. Iceman gets the buff immediately straight back up. Riffa goes for the rush, gets the rush, and that is going to send Iceman straight into critical, into the grab, into the KO. And yeah, Riffa does seem to be a little bit more comfortable now that we have ourselves a slightly different fighter for Riffa to deal with. And so we get ourselves going once again. The Hydra now comes out for Iceman, so the vertical bolts instead of the horizontal, and obviously the fire element is just going to run straight through Master Mummy every single time it hits. And that's exactly what it's going to do. It Springtron easily having a much better showing this time around. Still has the boomerang to try and not only get around the Guardian, but try to counter that windy slam as well. And again, the Hydra just cleaves through Riffa. They're going to have to be very careful with this. They've got the Guardian, yes, but they know full well this is the last thing they want to be running into. The Hydra almost gets it again, but the slam just about denied them. But that is going to be a big time juggle. 365, 385 thanks to that extra 20 tag. And just like that, it is Iceman who now has the health advantage. Riffa tries to heal back up bit by bit, but the boomerang finds its way around the Guardian. And that will be that. One apiece in our first matchup, and Iceman is determined to say, I can use other characters outside of my mains just as easily. Hydra not going to score this time round, and in fact, Riffa's actually gone for the tri-bolt, so vertical bolts versus the horizontal bolts. One stun, one fire. You kind of have to have a fire element against a heavyweight character like Master Mummy. And that wind also takes them clean off their feet. EMP goes up, gives Iceman the buff that they were looking for. Determined to try and find a way through Riffa. Hits in with the Hydra, runs straight into Riffa's bolts, but thankfully doesn't go down. Riffa not able to take full advantage of it. And the Hydra does get cancelled in favor of that rush, but it's going to be chip damage and nothing more for Riffa this time around. And now it's going to be up to Iceman to see if they can plant this perfectly. Gets caught with a stun. Thankfully, the Guardian cannot come up quick enough for Riffa to fully punish it. Hydra, again, runs straight through Riffa, straight into a grab. Really good coordination from Iceman as the trampoline goes up. Keep the EMP alive to keep that buff and that speed moving along swiftly. Trying to find a way to catch Riffa out. Went for the rush, missed the run, just couldn't quite get it. A slight bit of hesitation and Riffa gets away with it with the bare minimum. And suddenly this match could go either way. Riffa again, run down by the Hydra, clipped by the boomerangs. 15 seconds left to go. If Riffa can hit a rush or a grab, it could still absolutely change as Iceman isn't too far away from being knocked down. They are absolutely in KO range and Riffa will do that, but caught at the peak of the jump. The furthest, the highest bolt clips the feet of Master Mummy. And Iceman just about swings it 1-0 to the Iceman. Very good performances from both sides of the field. Both adapting pretty well to their respective plays, and it was a good idea for Riffa to go for the tri-bolt in the end. It kind of starts to try and predict where Tron is going to move into, especially when that buff is going. You want that extra field of coverage, and really good call from Riffa to do so, but Iceman just cool and calm, keeps their composure. And now we go to Buster Beach, where we saw Riffa really have a field day against Raziel in the previous set. They really do not want to be seeing any more points taken away from them, especially with the fact that Iceman only needs to beat Riffa once. Riffa will have to beat Iceman not once, but twice in best of 5 sets. Remember, this is still double elimination, and Iceman has not conceded a set yet. That can all change when it's Riffa involved, and you know full well he'll want that championship to stay with him. Big time grab from Riffa is going to try and keep it that way. But having to quickly wander out of that hot pocket area, ran through again with the Hydra. I think they're very much starting to realise that every single time that Hydra flings out, they have to have an answer for it. They've got to find a way of shutting that down, because Iceman more often than not will fling the Hydra out when it's charged rather than when it's not. Again, the boomerang also keeping them on edge. Remember full well that EMP is going to be dangerous the second Iceman starts going. Riffa with the rush, ready to go, but again caught out by the Hydra. You just see how fast Springtron moves. Just circles completely around Master Mummy, who is, let's face it, an absolute anchor sometimes. Finally catches in with the bolts, keeps Tron at bay, cannot punish again, and the boomerang just hits Riffa square in the chest. Goes for the grab, but unfortunately overcommitted. Big time on that one for Iceman. Riffa flings in with the rush. 20 seconds left on the clock. Iceman probably not going to be able to get anything from here. Or will they? They go for the rush. In fact, they absolutely deal a lot of damage. But crucially, Riffa keeps the lead. Iceman has to find another hit here. Almost does so, but it's the bolt that finds them. They went all in, but Riffa denies them the initiative. Not gonna happen on this occasion, and now we see a bit of a different change of plan. The boomerang is gone. In comes the Seiki for Iceman, as the arm is already weak on both sides of the field. Not how you want to start, but that's okay. Brilliant pressure from Riffa, but again, Iceman remaining calm under pressure, finds a Seiki into a grab. But now the arm broken on the right hand side, arm still weak on the left. That Guardian will break it, it absolutely does. And that's going to be another pin into a shock, into a stun, into the hot pocket. And it's all Riffa at this stage of the game. EMP comes out, but it's going to be punished by the rush. 320 spicy damage. And Iceman, well, Iceman is already a point away, but really good time with the EMP. How about that? That was timed perfectly. 425 damage. They kind of had to go for it, and they paid off dividends with it. Grab as well. What a series of volleys that was from Iceman. It puts Riffa into critical, but they're still a punch away from going down, and the Bolt will say that it's all for nothing. It's one apiece in the set. Again, some inspired footwork from Iceman. You just love to see moments like that play out. It was one after another. The EMP timed beautifully. Rush gave them 425 damage. A wake-up grab. It just all seemed to fall in place for Iceman, but Riffa only needed to hit one more time. And one more time is exactly what they would find with the Tri-Bolt, and that is why you love to see the Tri-Bolt and the Tri-Blast and the Hydras really start to come out every now and then, because it's like, especially when you know your character is going to be, for the most part, on the ground, you want to cover as much range as possible. For the Hydra, it runs clean through a character like Master Mummy. Any kind of fire element or wind element immediately takes the heavyweights off, because otherwise they just stay there and they will just take the damage and they will laugh in your face. Iceman, what are you doing? Bite and bark in a grand final. This is one of the more questionable decisions I've ever seen, but hey, we're going to see what happens. Roaster and the Seiki. So again, sticking with the electrical and the fire theme, but immediately shut down straight away by the slam of Riffa. Again, Bark is going to be in contention, but immediately taken out of the equation. Just sitting there on the side. Finally will come back up. Acts as a shield, but again, Riffa knows full well that they could just take that away, and it just means that Iceman will be on their own with no abilities. Ninja College is already a very vertical-centric stage as it is. Riffa is doing incredibly well to keep Iceman just shut down in the corner, being an absolute wall to them here. Again, the Guardian just smiles gleefully in their face, Riffa knowing full well that, well, it's theirs to lose here, although having said that, the Seiki is going to catch on the electrical explosion. That is going to be a grab as well. Iceman doing everything in the power to make this character work, but so far Riffa has the edge. Again, just bouncing away with that big old jump that Bark can provide. Again, knocked straight back down by Riffa, who is just not going to take this one lightly. Although having said that, that's another Seiki hit. That's going to be another big time explosion as well. 465! And just like that, Iceman has absolutely turned this around. Would you look at that? Riffa all the way into critical. Bark gets in on the action as well. Actually scored with a punch of that. That's a KO! Iceman. Iceman! Holy heck! Actually gets the stun with the rush from underneath Master Mummy and sets themselves beautifully into the second match. Tries to get themselves onto a level playing field, but unfortunately Riffa is going to try and keep them down at the bottom of the stairs for as long as they possibly can. Bark is just consistently trying to ping on in there, but well, Riffa's not going to really pay much attention to that at all. They are just pinning Iceman into the corner, not allowing them to come out. Another Seiki is going to explode in Riffa's face. Grab will pop them onto the middle area. Again, Bark acting as a quick little mini extra shield. Unfortunately, the Seiki just a little too high that time around. Iceman slammed straight at the bottom of the stairs. Nothing that they could do about it this time around, and another series of volleys later. Surely Riffa will take the point this time around. Bolt again, just about not hitting. Iceman doing everything, throwing in the Seiki just to try and catch Riffa off guard. Roaster not going to find its mark this time around. Just about blocks the slam. It's just relentless pressure. Again, they both trade, but this time round, unfortunately, it's a trade that Iceman could not afford to take. One apiece in the set, one apiece in the match. Who will take the lead in this very thrilling Grand Final showcase? Misiki comes through, doesn't quite connect with Riffet this time around. That one, however, does, and that sets up Iceman wonderfully. Oh, does it? The Siki didn't hit. It flung them too far. It flung them too far, and any advantage Iceman would have gained completely lost there in the spree of it all. The Siki cancels the rush. Iceman took a bit of damage, but crucially the Siki managed to explode in time. And Riffa, just like that, has half their health down and dusted. Iceman is absolutely making Bite of Bark work. Riffa down into critical. The Siki lands again, but unfortunately too far away this time round. And thankfully Riffa does not get caught again. Hit with the hottest of slam. The triple hit. Will the grab connect? The grab connects! Do not scratch your eyes, my friends. You really have just seen Bite of Bark at a point in Grand Finals, and it means that Iceman is 2-1 up in this set. Iceman proving the point where it doesn't matter what tier your fighters are in, no matter how often or how little your characters are picked, you can make them work. And Iceman keeping that confidence going is going to bring Bite of Bark into their home stage on Buster Beach. Iceman is 2-1 up, and River has it all to do. Guardian and the windiest of slams immediately take Bark out of the equation. Iceman wants to be the person who wins a tournament with Bite and Bark, and I can tell you right now, little people have managed to put their name on that accolade. This would be quite the showing if they were able to do so, but Bark is going to be pinned into the corner very early on, and Riffa will be determined to keep Iceman there. Just about jumping past the grab. They cannot afford to be taking 205 damage from that Slammeroo, but that's exactly what is going to happen. Down to the halfway mark, wrestling up close and personal with the Master Mummy. As the missile flies all the way over, it does manage to find its way in over the Guardian. It will go, both with rush set and ready to go, but this time around it's River who gets the juggle. All of that damage is exactly what they needed. And as the slam tries to find its way through, it's the wind that beats out the fire on this occasion. River knowing full well they have all the time in the world. Big time slam, big time damage. And it's River who has another point to their name. Can they tie this setup by 2 points to 2? Well, you've got to win one more, and I love the fact that Iceman just about had the time to get the bounce off Bark before immediately getting swept from under their feet. But big time Siki, followed by big time Rush. 380 damage. That will do quite nicely for Iceman to start themselves up in this matchup, but they cannot afford to be in this hot pocket area too long because Riffa will try to make sure that they stay there. Thankfully, Iceman does manage to find a way around, but Riffa with rush set and ready to go. Again, just consistently flowing that slam out, but that's going to be another big time Siki explosion. Riffa on the cusp of critical, using that height advantage to good measure, but unfortunately cast away by 325 damage and now pinned into the other corner. Shots with the Guardian, but Bark with the save! Beautiful save from Bark. The slam finally does come through, and Iceman has rushed. They're going to have to use every bit of wile here to try and keep Riffa at bay. They want that little slice of history. They want to upset the cards big time round, and could you imagine the scenes if that happens? But Riffa knowing full well that they are a grab or punch away from being able to take this to 2-2, but the Siki finally hits. Will the grab reach? The grab does reach. It gives Iceman the health lead. 20 seconds left on the clock. What will they choose to do? They tried to be greedy by going for the Siki, but Riffa knows full well how this goes at this point. They could go for the rush. They will go for the rush. Iceman gets the shield up. Chip damage, nothing more than that, but this is going to be close. Had to go for the rush. Had to go for it, otherwise they're going to get denied, but they get denied anyway! Riffa wins it at the last second! Don't give us hope. Don't give us hope. It's the hope against Riffa that has been killing us for years. And Riffa, once again, is on the verge of forcing a bracket reset. Riffa, knowing full well that they have this playstyle of Iceman down to a T, they're able to thwart down that Seiki every single time Iceman goes up for the air. Riffa knows the Seiki is probably going to be coming. And as a result, Iceman will not get the result that they are looking for. Temple Grounds will be the pick from Iceman. The 5th match of the grand final. It could end here, or it could continue for another best of 5 performance. Iceman will switch to Coil. Crucially, Iceman switches to Coil. Ice Dragon, Sparky, and the Thunderbird. We've still got some electrical goodness for our veins. The 5th and potentially final match of the tournament is on the cards, and Riffa knowing full well that with Master Mummy, they have got to make the bolts and the Guardian work spot on, and that is going to be against them immediately. Iceman gets the shark and the grab. Coil can float and hover. Has the 3rd arm for good use as well. 2 Thunderbirds or 2 Sparkies, and either way, it's electrical goodness. Not for Riffa's veins, it isn't. Finally managed to get a tag with the bolt, make that 2 in a row, but cannot get the knockdown that they are looking for. The stun keeps Coil in the air. Finally the 1-2 hit brings Iceman down to the ground. And again, the healing abilities of Master Mummy keeps that health ticking around for Riffa. Iceman just straight up floats all the way around the pillars, takes chip damage, and nothing more than that for the time being. But it is Riffa with the health lead for the time being. Backs themselves towards the corner. They know that Coil has to come to them. Jumps clean over one and hits with the other. And Iceman already on the cusp of critical. Make that into critical. Riffa is playing this patiently and awkwardly, especially if your Iceman finally does manage to get the grab, but with 25 seconds to go, they're going to have to do a lot of damage, and the shield gets up in time as well, would you believe it? And that is surely going to be not only Riffa's point, but Riffa's rush. But no, Riffa actually went for the rush anyway, gets the KO, they secure themselves it. Reset point. Reset point. Simple as that. If Riffa wins, we go again for another best of 5. And Iceman knows full well they cannot afford to lose the Mummy again. And the grab is going to make absolutely sure that Riffa continues as they mean to go on. Full health still intact for the most part. Chip damage finally starting to go through, and it's Iceman coming out with the Ice Dragon alongside that Sparky. So clearly it wanted to favor the double dragon approach if the charge will give them it. There it is, immediately robs Mummy of all of their abilities, but the Guardian, again, just proven to be that extra difficult wall. Finally the grab comes through, and Iceman is starting to build up that confidence just that little bit more, that momentum that they were looking for. It's still a ways to go. Again, another successful freeze, and it just keeps Riffa down. I mean, Mummy's slow at the best of times, but that slam is still incredibly dangerous, and this is way too close to Riffa than Iceman would like to, although having said that, no, they missed the rush! They missed the rush as well. They could not correct in time, and the rush is not able to follow up, but that's okay. The double dragon laser does anyway, and so too does the grab. 150 takes Riffa into critical. Doesn't quite get the grab they were looking for. That could have netted them the win, but instead the slam dunk comes in for Riffa. 20 seconds left on the clock. Iceman has just a sliver more health than Riffa does, and they have to maintain it. Otherwise, we're going to another best of 5. Another tiny point of damage has to go for the rush to keep themselves in the equation. They were getting scared. Riffa will say it's a win for them. They've baited out the rush, but crucially, it is reset point for Riffa. It is championship point for Iceman. Riffa will have rush advantage. It will be set and ready to go from here on in. And here it comes. But the shield is up. It's chip damage and nothing more than that. Iceman gets it up in the nick of time. Arm weak on the left hand side, and River immediately drops them straight back into the corner, which they are struggling to get out of. Now they have some space to move and float away. Knocked back down by another series of the tripods. Volley, the grab just doesn't quite make it, but look at the amount of damage that Iceman is taking already. Chilled and frozen is the Master Mummy. Rush will come out, but again the shield is up. Chip damage, nothing more than that, and the grab connect! The grab connected no matter what Coil could do there. It was always going to hit. And with that, Riffa knows full well this could be the moment, but it's not. Not just yet. Keeps this chance alive. Iceman is doing everything they can. The bolt hit. Iceman is one hit away with anything of going down into another best of 5, and the bolt's just about denied. No idea how that happened, but there we go. Rush is almost set and ready to go. The Rush is set and ready to go. Here it comes. Will this be the winning blow? I think it is. Iceman has done it. For the first time in 14 cups, Iceman is your Challenge Cup winner with an absolute thriller. 3-2 against the rated champ, and it will not be Riffers this time. What a showing. What a tournament. That was phenomenal. It's Iceman's 14th cup overall. It finally puts him second place on his own some. No tying with Yada. And as I said, the first time since the 62nd installment, Iceman finally triumphant. What a showing. What a tournament we have just witnessed here today. Goodness me, you could not ask for any more if you tried. Riffa had to do the hardest moments of all of that. Like, let's think about this for a moment. A 3-2 match that went the distance against Raziel, who gave it everything to try and make it to Grand Final for only the second time. Denied at the end. Riffa making it through. And then another 3-2 match. I can only imagine the amount of stamina Riffa would have had left if we'd have gone to another best of 5. But that is what ifs at this stage of the competition. It is all done and dusted. Iceman is your winner of the 76 Challenge Cup here in the European scene. It is their 14th cup. It's felt like a long time coming. Like I said, last winner in the 62nd installment, so they've kept us waiting, but the wait is finally over. Riffa maintains their streak in the top 3 for just a little bit longer, finishing runner-up. Not being able to retain it this time round, but you know full well Riffa will be back next time out because he's always back next time out. Raziel, another fine third, not making it to the grand final this time round, but again, knocking on the door of it. It's only a matter of time before we see Raziel back into the grand final. Joke with an amazing resurgence, almost making it to the podium for the first time, but not quite doing so. A 4th place is still a mighty fine position to end. And then, of course, shoutouts going to Yoshi, to Slacks, and to Lefeur, bringing in the rear. All coming on in. Hopefully you've all had a fantastic time. Hopefully everybody in the chat has had an enjoyable time as well. It has been a lot of fun. Of that, there's been no doubt. If you want to make sure you keep on top of all of the information that's coming on here, remember, it's not just what we run. There are other ARMS competitions that run as well that we will absolutely showcase for you and share it on our Twitter. That is at European_ARMS. You can have a look at the individual matches that get posted up over at our YouTube, EU ARMS Competitive. And of course, you can watch all of the streams happen here live at twitch.tv/EU_ARMS. If you want to join our Discord, the description will be down below for tips, tricks, and how to get involved in upcoming competitions. Hopefully that will cover all of the bases for you. I have been your gal, TK Layla. I have no idea if I'll see you next time out because it's going to be a very busy weekend next weekend. as much as I do not want to miss the PR Invitational, because you shouldn't either, the top 8 of the European scene will be doing battle, and there will likely be a prize pool involved, because there usually is for the Invitationals. Again, keep an eye out on the Twitter, because it will showcase all that for you. Hopefully I'll be involved. If not, whoever ends up taking the reins, you wish them all the best as well. But until then, take care, my friends, and please remember the 3 very important things. That trans rights are human rights, that black lives do indeed matter, and to make sure to keep your drinks nice and topped up so that we can stay fighting fit and fighting fresh for as long as physically possible. Goodbye, my friends.